You'd think recording these podcasts, I'd have a comfortable spot. I don't. Normally in the other chair, but me and Ian started recording in a half pint episode in this chair, and it's just a quite nice one. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But hello, welcome back to Think Tankards. Today we're going to tickle your nostalgia button in ways your uncle never could quite manage. And we're going to talk about good old Pokémon cards and the horrific hellhole it has become in latter years. We're also going to discuss a little bit about scalping in general and the whole surprisingly deep industry around trading card games in general. But it's a Nathan episode, so I will hand over to Nathan. Hello.
I'm Nathan, by the way. I don't know if anyone else wants to introduce themselves.
Welcome back to Think Tankers. This is a podcast where two stand-up comedians and me teach each other new subjects every week. I'm Chris.
I'm Ian.
I'm Nathan.
Welcome back to the show. Today's a Nathan episode. Nathan, do you want to go? Nathan's drinking
Thank
from
you,
a can.
Chris. I am. Thank you. I've got cherry Pepsi Max.
Fuck
today.
me for trying to keep the format fresh. Right, fuck me for trying to add a little. The thing is, they say you've got 20 seconds because everybody's so brain damaged from social media. You've got 20 seconds to hook people. Now, I like the cold opens. I love our cold opens where we start recording just as we're chatting. But I wanted to try and get the hook in as well. So that's what I was doing. I do apologise. I'm still working out the kinks. Go fuck yourself.
The first 20
This
seconds
isn't-
were about your chair, in fairness.
Yeah.
Chairs are a big
It's
topic.
even worse. It's even worse than like Instagram and things like that. Like when I put videos or even short clips on Instagram and I can have a look at the insights and when people skip. I'm like, you haven't even given me a chance. It's been like 3 seconds. You've seen my face and heard my voice and gone, no, I'm going to skip this. This is not for me. And
We're going to have to start
yeah,
putting a bra on Ian. We're going to have to start, like, Ian, sorry, as the only clean-shaven one here, by default, you are the femboy twink. So we're going to have to
Right.
sex him up. We're going to have to sex you up. We're going to dress you up like Link and then like Zelda. And that we're gonna sexualize you. We've already got
Link
your
the
voice, so
twink.
you'll just Link the twink. Yeah, exactly. Sign up to our Patreon if you want to be entered into a raffle to come and link the twink in person.
Mhm.
I'm not all on board with this one.
Well,
Consensual
Tough.
non-consent is quite a niche kink, so fair enough.
yeah, Link the Twink, CNC.
Anyway. Hi Nathan.
Yeah, we're
Hi,
going to
Ian.
talk. Hiya. We're going to talk about some Pokemon cards. We're going to talk about lots of things. Pokemon TCG. We're not going to go too far into Pokemon itself because people know what that is, and we may do that at another time. Talk about the history of it and where it came from and why they are complete bastards. Now, as much as I do love the Pokemon Company and what it is that they do, I do also have a fully functioning brain, kinda. So I do think they are bastards from time to time. So, Pokemon cards. We will start off just with a very, very brief history of a brief refresher, we'll say, of what they are. So, Pokemon cards began in Japan in 1996, bringing the excitement of the video game to a tactile, collectible format. So this was when Pokemon Red and Blue were out, or it was Green and Red in Japan.
For the
The
colourblind.
early card, apparently the early cards were cherished for their characters and artwork, with little concern for monetary value. But today, those unsuspecting collectors hold assets worth tens of hundreds of thousands of pounds. You guys, what is your experience from when you were kids, or for Ian when he was about 30 in 1996? Oh, that was a good shocked face. What, Chris, I'll go with you first because your answers are usually quite long.
All right, okay. I was gonna bounce to Ian for the same reason. Right. I've got a bit of a terrible history with trading cards. And this is, do you know when like you say kids are evil, and then you look back at things you did as a kid, and you think, yeah, I'm glad I grew out of that. So
Where
before,
did you put the cards?
so before we knew as much about autism and learning difficulties as we do now, when I was in primary school, I was quite good at taking advantage of the special kids to get them to give me their cards, and I
Nowhere
amassed,
this gonna go.
I amassed quite a collection. It was Pokemon, so I got a shiny Zapdos and a shiny Charizard by convincing a lad called John to give me them because I swapped them for, I think it was just like a Pidgey or something, and I convinced him that it was a Pidgey, or I think, or something, and it was one of the birds, and I convinced him that it was so rare that they'd only printed 3 of them, and I'd managed to get hold of one, and so I would generously trade him for the shiny Zapdos and the shiny Charizard. And then later on, I got all 5 pieces of Exodia from him
Right.
by doing the same thing. And then when I was on holiday in Spain, again, I seem to have this like a shark in the water for kids with special needs who had rare Pokemon and rare Yu-Gi-Oh cards. When I was on holiday in Spain at a caravan park, I managed to get a Moltres for that. So same thing, like a little bit of a hustle I had going on. So I actually think some of the darkest things I did as a child were revolving around these cards.
Shaking down
Right.
the disabled.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. And I remember the first time I ever did sleight of hand was when John kind of cottoned onto it, and his dad pulled up in the car while I was walking home from primary school, and John got out, and I had his cards on me, and he said, "Let me search it. I want my cards back." I was like, "What?" And then he searched me, but I managed to like palm the card. So like I went like that, and I had it like here. I was like, "Yeah, fine." So I was like, "Yeah, search me, whatever." And I held my hand up, and then like as he searched me, I went, "Oh, you're not going to find anything," and crossed my arms. And then I just held the card under my armpit until he went. So I managed to survive a stop and frisk from a lad with special needs and his dad. But
Wow, what a piece
now,
of shit.
yeah, that was that was like, what? How old are you in primary school? Like you're 10? Yeah, so I was like 9 or 10 doing this shit, and then obviously they all got lost. But now downstairs in my garage, I do have quite a large collection of evolutions and like the Max stuff that is locked away in a fireproof cabinet for my kids when they come of age and they can go and sell them. So yeah, I am sorry to admit this. I'm not the guy. I'm not that person anymore. But kids are fucking psychopaths, and I look back and I'm like, God damn, that's horrific.
Wow.
So yeah. Maybe that's why I'm so interested in scams and stuff now. Is I'm like, this could have been me in another life.
Yeah.
That was a long answer. I do apologize.
It was. I never thought I'd say this sentence, but I hope you were robbed by a disabled person one day.
Yeah, I don't feel proud of it. But I will monetize this episode if I can.
Imagine if he did feel proud of it. That would just be so much worse.
No, it's the thing is, and I say this right. I've went through all it, and we're gonna get deep now, right? As a human, as a man in particular, as a male, I've went through all the stages of girl, being an evil little child, and then girls don't like me, they just like assholes, that kind of stuff.
You were
Like,
an incel before incels were incels.
I've went through all these stages at what I think is probably the appropriate time. Like when I was in like my teens and even a little bit in my early 20s, I was like, oh, girls don't, like women aren't interested in me because of this, because of that. And it's like, well, actually, no. And then it's the growing and the learning. That's what's important. It's like you see these incels and what have you, they don't grow out with this. And so I think I have been those pieces of shit at the appropriate times in my life, and I then kind of learned and grew and was like, well, actually, no, Chris, women just don't like uninteresting people who feel sorry for themselves, so go and be a better person. Now, I fuck.
Yeah, I think now you're at the stage of enlightened white man.
That's why I feel so comfortable as a white man in his 30s. Of course I started a podcast. 2, in fact.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sorry, it's such
Ian,
a fucking long
please.
answer. Ian,
Please save us, Ian. Please say you have not swindled like amputees or anything like that. I mean, I know you do that in your job in everyday life as a lawyer.
Yeah,
but
he's a lawyer. Like, we're not going to anything better here.
I know I have the voice of someone who would gladly disenfranchise the poor and the sick, but on a Pokemon card basis, no such history. In fact, basically no history at all. As you say, tad older, so my thing to exchange in the playground were football stickers.
Right.
They were made by Merlin.
Yeah.
Over the course of the 90s. The thing is, I think the stickers made before them were called Panini.
They're still going.
Yeah. They're still going.
So I used that particular maker for my bread routine, but because Merlin just doesn't fit. I don't think people really remember it either. But in terms of Pokemon, again, me and my brother, big fans because we were big Nintendo people. In terms of the cards, they were a thing, but they weren't a big thing because we're probably talking end of the 90s, beginning of the 2000s.
Were you more Pogs?
Sorry?
Did you have Pogs?
Not really. It's like it was a phase at once. My brother was more into all that, so
because I was like
Pogs and discos.
Yeah, so me and Nathan
like
are about the same age, so I don't know if it was the same for Nathan, but and it might be because I grew up in a shithole, like you're a little bit behind the rest of England.
Sure.
Like in terms of like literally in terms of like technology and culture and everything. It's so like for me, it went as a child, it went Pogs, Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Beyblade, and then I kind of petered off a little bit.
Beyblade's back too.
Yeah, I heard. Actually, I watch infrequently. I do watch Beyblade World Championships on YouTube. I watch them. There are YouTube videos of like Beyblade competitions, but there are also better videos of people making Beyblades out of like really heavy machinery.
Yes, really I like them ones, and they set fire to the arena. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I like things like that. Yeah, I had Pogs. I didn't really understand Pogs, but I had them. I had Pokemon cards. I also like to collect those little puzzle pieces of Looney Tunes that you got in crisp packets, if anyone remembers those. Yep, those were pretty cool. But yeah, Pokemon cards were my jam. I'm going to trauma dump a little bit here because
you don't have that much time, so don't take too long.
See, when I was a young disabled boy, a small bald child swindled me. No,
I used to rip Beyblades at people's heads as well.
Jesus,
that's dangerous. My lovely father, as people know from my stand-up routine, he once did something very cruel to me. I had a lot of Pokemon cards. I love Pokemon cards, love Pokemon. I had prized possessions. And I used to have to walk home from school with my sister, who was 2 years older than me. And she was trading Pokemon cards for so long, and I wasn't allowed to walk home on my own, that we were incredibly late. And when my dad found out the reason for it, he burnt all of our cards in front of us. Which was very, very traumatic, very sad. There's a reason why I am never late for anything, by the way. I've noticed when I get late, I start sweating and panicking, and I think it is through that. It's very strange. And he still laughs about it now. He still thinks it's very funny. Yeah, he's a bad man. Yes, Ian.
Are you planning on having him cremated?
Only if he doesn't want me to.
Yeah, I was going to ask if the sweating was from the memory of the flames. You can feel the heat.
Yeah, maybe. It was super effective against my Venusaur.
It's fucking horrific. What a dick move.
Yeah, it is a dick move. It is horrendous. But yeah, so at that point, I lost all my cards and then had to start collecting from scratch again. But it is still a big part of my life now. I have lots and lots and lots of cards. I have lots of my own personal collection in which I buy things I knew I once had. And if I ever see them again, I'm like, oh yeah, I did have that in that collection. And so I have gradually replaced what was once burnt. But instead of going through personal anecdotes, we'll talk a bit about the cards. So it is a game. Has anyone played the game? The actual game itself?
It's like Top Trumps, isn't it?
Kinda,
Yeah,
but with a lot
it
more
was
to
all.
it. So like Magic the Gathering / Top Trumps
Yeah,
/
no, for me,
whatever.
it was all about the thrill of swindling the disabled. I didn't actually play the game.
Yeah, fair enough.
I just
I
kind
mean,
of
you can
got
Jesus.
do
off.
that while playing the game as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I was too young to really understand how the game was played. So
hmm
yeah, no.
Yeah, I was too young to understand when I had the cards, but I remember I had a PC game of the Pokemon trading card game that came in disc form when PC games came on disc. Those were the days. And that's how I learned how to play. There's lots of really cool ways to do it now. There's free apps, free games that you can download on your PC to play the game. Uh, you get free digital packs and things like that in order to build a deck and play, blah, blah, blah. The game itself, as Ian said, it is a bit like Top Trumps. Each Pokemon has hit points and they have attacks. The attacks can be powered up by attaching energy cards to them. Different trainers can do different things. Pokemon have different abilities, and you just have to try and knock each other's Pokemon out until you've collected all 6 of the opponent's prize cards, things like that. So it's pretty simple, easy to learn, difficult to master. And there's always a meta when it comes to new expansions coming out, which we'll talk about. Trading card games have lots and lots and lots of expansions because money. Why not? Copious amounts of money. Now, I am going to go through very, 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 very quickly, or I'll try to go through very, very quickly, every single expansion that has come out.
I thought you were going to say
in the
every single
days.
Pokemon. Then I was just going to end the episode. So there's over 1,000. We can't do this.
So when we were younger, we had the base set, which was just the first ones that came out. It's where the most famous shiny Charizard that everyone wants, the shiny Zapdos that Chris stole from a disabled child.
I got the shiny
And-
Charizard as well.
Yeah, I know. That's just it's hard. It's hard to talk about without making you sound like a bellend. After that, the first expansion was called Jungle, and I believe actually the Pidgeot, if it was a holographic Pidgeot that you gave to this disabled boy, it would have been the Jungle Pidgeot. So I'm actually wondering if it would have been just as this came out, which is 1999, and then not many people, well, people, obviously, we didn't know much about expansions because the internet wasn't as much of a thing back then. And they were like, oh, I've never seen this card. That's because it was new. It's rare. Here you go. Give me your Zapdos and Charizard.
No, there was a lot of fake cards when we were younger.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had some of those fake cards.
Yeah,
and I
fake
would
cards are a
essentially-
thing.
I would launder them. I would launder the cards.
You
It
do
was a whole-
everything you can to make yourself sound like a villain.
This was over, what, it's like 25, how old am I? Yeah, it's like over 25 years ago, right? It's like, it's a quarter of a century ago
Right.
that I was doing this. I do, like I said, I do feel bad, but I then went on, thankfully, I was much more productive in secondary school. I had a whole empire selling cigarettes. So
Cool.
I
That's
moved on
much
from it.
better.
Good job.
I
The
made a lot
Jungle,
of money.
we got the Fossil set. These were all great sets, absolute classics, really, really cool. And then they brought out a base set 2, which was a collection of Jungle, Fossil, base set, but all as a new set, just with a 2 written on the side. They just did things for money. Then we had Team Rocket, Gym Heroes, and Gym Challenge. So that was everything from 1996 to 2000. When Pokemon Silver and Gold came out, second gen, they had to bring out new cards with all the new Pokemon. Then one came out called Legendary Collection. Chris, do you know of these ones, Legendary Collection, where they were the first reverse holographic ones, where the outside of the card was really, really shiny, but the actual picture itself was not?
Was Mew one of them?
There was, yeah, I think there was a Mew in it. There was lots and lots of them in the Legendary Collection. It was basically all the ones from the first few sets, but they were reverse hollowed.
I have a dim memory of having it might have been you used to get a Pokemon card when you went to see the film in the cinema, a Mew.
Yes.
I think I might be thinking of that one.
You might be
But
thinking of the Ancient Mew card.
yeah, I think yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll have probably seen some of these cards, but I don't have a full recollection. I think I don't. Again, I was so young that I wasn't really au fait with the ins and outs of the actual cards themselves. I just knew it was
See.
valuable.
Right. Okay. So third generation from 2002, we had Expedition Base Set, Aquapolis or Aquaopolis, Skyridge, Ruby and Sapphire, Sandstorm, Dragon, Team Magma versus Team Aqua, EX Hidden Legends, Fire Red and Leaf Green, EX Rocket Returns, EX Deoxys, EX Emerald. There was so many, and it doesn't stop there. Diamond and Pearl, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 expansions, which I'm just not going to say them all.
Jesus
4 in
Christ.
Platinum. Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out. That's another 4. Jesus, there's so many on X and Y. There's like another 16 expansions in 4 years. Sun and Moon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, another 16. And it's just gone on that way up until I've just realized that there's so many. All the way to now, where this newest set, Mega Evolution, was started in September 26, 2025. So what's that? Not even a year ago. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 expansions have been released in the space of a year now. It has, it's really, really sped up. Yeah.
The thing is as well, like, I know Nathan will probably get into this at some point as well, but one thing I wanted to talk about is the culture of scalping as well. Like, I don't think, like, it's the Pokemon companies seem, and the manufacturers, they're putting the onus onto the retailers to do stuff about this, because to them it is literally printing money. Like, the scalping stuff is a fucking epidemic recently, and Pokemon is, to me, is probably the best example of that. I mean, there's other things we'll talk about, but yeah, no wonder there's so many sets. Like, they're going to increase it, because literally as soon as these things are on the shelves, they're gone. Sometimes before they even get to the shelves, people are pulling them off.
Yeah, it's impossible,
so to speak.
Yeah, yeah. No, we will get into that now, and they haven't done anything really to stop the bots, to stop the scalpers. It is impossible to buy Pokemon cards now. If you see them in the wild, they're either a very rare occasion that there's something that you don't necessarily want, something that's not a booster packs. You can get deck boxes where they are just there in order to play the game, but it's all about the whole gambling aspect of it now as well. So packs where you can just open them are impossible to find.
So, speaking to the listeners, you understand what Pokemon is, you remember it, you've got fond memories, but you can't understand what we're on about when we're saying scalping. Just to give you an idea of Pokemon cards now, the most expensive Pokemon card in the world that has been sold, and Nathan, keep me right here, but for my research, was a 1998 Pikachu Illustrator card that sold for $16.5 million, which is £12.5 million.
Jesus.
That is the value of the most expensive Pokemon card ever sold. But there was also, for example, the Charizard we talked about quite a lot, regularly valued between $500,000 to $550,000. So there is a lot of money in Pokemon cards, and Nathan will be the expert on this, so I'll defer to him after we talk about scalpers, but this all depends on the conditions the cards are in, called grading.
Yes.
That's just a tiny little primer. We'll talk about the scalping, and then we'll talk about the grading later, whatever Nathan wants to do, but that's just a little primer there. Like, you've heard about Pokemon cards, you're like, why is this so important, and why do these two seem so negative about it, blah blah blah. There's a lot of fucking money in this, and like anything else, it's prone to abuse, to manipulation, and ultimately, it's like, I don't want to sound like Helen Lovejoy here, but like, will somebody please think of the children, because this is meant to be a children's game, and it's ruined by fat, sweaty fucking neckbeards.
Yeah, it wasn't
I'll get
always
down off my
like this.
soapbox.
No, you're right. It wasn't always like this. There was a moment of happiness, and it wasn't all that long ago where Pokemon cards were both valuable and easy to get. It was round about sometime in the last couple of years. I'm going to defer to my list of expansions to tell you exactly when it was that it all exploded. So they brought out a expansion called 151, which is the original amount of Pokemon, if anyone knows, from the first generation was 151 Pokemon. So this was a special expansion of every single Pokemon that was in the original. So that's really tugging at people's nostalgia right there. That was round about the time of COVID, where people were getting into Pokemon cards once again, because it was easy to sit at home and collect things. You didn't have to go out anyway, you could just order them. And people were watching a lot of YouTube, where there was a lot of Pokemon YouTubers, people opening packs online, getting the dopamine of seeing what was in a pack without having to actually spend any money on it was a thing. And that really started kicking off people's excitement over Pokemon yet again. Then in the 8th of November 2024, a set called Surging Sparks came out. And this is really weird the way I'm going to describe this, but it had a particular card of a Pikachu that looked like it was showing its bumhole. We call it Butthole Pikachu, and it was very hard to get. But that suddenly exploded things. Surging Sparks was quite difficult to get a hold of. From websites, as soon as they went online, they were just gone because there was these people buying them and either holding them for a bit or just putting them on eBay straight away to make a quick 30 quid. And people were buying it because people wanted it. And so it fed the scalpers even more. Straight after that was a set called Prismatic Evolutions. And that was all the evolutions and loads of special cards with all of them. Tugging at nostalgia, and that's where it all went tits up. From the 17th of January 2025, it has been impossible to get any set whatsoever. Everyone has just been buying absolutely everything. Even on the Pokemon Center website, on the day that the pre-orders come alive, it is inputting. The queues are like hours and hours and hours long to even get anywhere. Once you get in, the website shits itself because the largest fucking franchise in the world can't design a website for some reason. Absolutely terrible. And then you'll go on eBay and the pre-orders for these things are hundreds and hundreds of pounds. It's impossible. You can't buy them, as Chris said. Can't we think of the children? My daughter loves Pokemon cards. I buy them for her when I can. I buy them for me when I can. It's just, it is impossible. Can we think of anything else that is like that these days?
Yes.
Anything else?
Can I? Yes, because I did come prepared for this episode because I was very excited. And Ian put it in the most fucking tough way possible in our group chat, where I said, fuck yes, I love this shit, the drama, the scummery. And Ian said, I too am interested to lesser outright exuberance.
Yeah.
So
It's just how I speak, Chris.
In my outright exuberance, I did a bit of research, and I was naturally, I wanted to know the etymology of scalping. Pretty obvious, but I wanted to make sure I was right. It's literally the act of taking an enemy's scalp. However, that came from the American frontier practice around like the 16, 1700s type shit. Then the word jumped to finance, which was unusual. So in the 19th century, people who we would call scalpers, they would buy large bulk of train tickets, stocks, currency, but mainly train tickets, and they would then resell them for profit at inflated values. And the jump to scalping came from them skimming off the top. They were inflating the value and taking the difference. That's how scalping became what we know it as. The late 1800s, train tickets, but also theatre tickets. So now we're seeing this jump into consumer goods. And it's always been there. Sports tickets, events, etc., etc. But
Music
for the nerdy
gigs.
amongst us,
Music gigs,
exactly. For the nerdy amongst us, just some examples over the last couple of years. Graphics cards, GPUs around 2020, 2022. The RTX 30 series was very difficult to get a hold of. PS5 launches were a fucking nightmare because bots were just buying them up instantly. People had to set up their own Discord servers just to get stock notifications for things like Asda and Sainsbury's and Argos. Like, then we've also got concert tickets.
Sorry.
Yeah, concert tickets. Like Taylor Swift Eras Tour was so bad with scalping that Ticketmaster was the subject of a Senate hearing in America because of their failure to stop bots. It was so bad. Then we've also got the Nintendo Switch. Shock. Fucking Nintendo here again.
Yeah,
And to a lesser
bastards.
extent, I don't know much about this one. And you two don't strike me as shoe guys either,
The
like in a
sneakers
non-sexual way.
are a big
But like
thing,
trainers, yeah, like
That's more an American thing, isn't it?
well,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, no.
Yeezys, Jordans, StockX, Go, like so. There's a lot of resellers. Well, actually, it's not just sneakers, but there's a lot of resellers that make a lot of money in these scalping markets.
Mhm.
It's not just individual fuckers on eBay, even though they are there.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of companies that have spun up as resellers. Now, I do apologize. That was a big fucking knowledge bomb in the middle of this,
No,
but I was
it's all
very
good.
interested. So there's some other examples of things that get scalped nowadays, but it's
Yeah.
always been there.
Back when the PS5 was being scalped all over, I was in one of the Discords to try and get a PS5 because I am a big PlayStation boy, and I was constantly checking alerts and trying to get into things, hearing rumors about when things were going on. The way I got one, Curry's put a bunch of PS5s up that came with Spider-Man Miles Morales and a T-shirt as a bundle. Now, I went in and I made sure that I ordered a T-shirt that was extra, extra small. In no fucking way would that have fit me. But I thought to myself, what T-shirt size would not fit the general demographic that are trying to buy this PlayStation? And it worked. I got it. That's the way I got it. The T-shirt I gave to a charity shop or something like that. But I thought there are no extra, extra small people trying to get on Curry's at the second it goes online to get this. No way.
I applaud the ingenuity. I despise that it was necessary.
It's terrible, isn't it?
I love that. That's crazy. But the thing
Yeah.
is, as well, like, I know that. So you might have guessed by now. This episode is much more of a discussion rather than just like brain blasting as well. I don't see much of a difference between the scalping we're talking about and this quote unquote surge pricing that a lot of companies are starting to employ.
Oasis.
Yeah.
Exactly. To
Yeah,
me,
dynamic
it's
pricing.
all the same. It's price gouging. It is
Mhm.
all the same. During COVID, there was one fucker who bought up all like 750,000 masks and tried to sell them back to a hospital at a profit. Like, this behavior is horrific, and it has existed. But the thing is, we live in a world where this doesn't seem to be penalized. Like, I mean, Ian, you might be able to point me to specific examples, but I've read historical accounts that if merchants were price gouging, they'd have things like their hands cut off, or like they'd be put to death for price gouging. And it seems like we live in a world that is now instead rewarding it as a hustle rather than
Yeah, I
culture as it
mean,
should.
the pandemic was particularly bad for that, which is why what caused a real big stink around the government at the time was the VIP lane for PPE and Baroness Moan, like buying up, like getting this lucrative contract to supply medical gowns, having not existed like a couple of weeks before getting this contract, and the gowns being substandard. That has actually been one of the rare cases where legal action has followed and there has been some consequences of at least there's a judgment for them to pay back X amount of money, to whatever extent that's actually going to materialize because of the company being wound up, or it is another thing. And unfortunately, a lot of these, let's just call them what they are, bastards, are quite savvy with the specific kind of law with which to operate. Until there is a specific law against this kind of practice, then it is technically legal to do.
Well, I mean, I know this isn't a political podcast,
Sure.
and I don't really want to go there too heavily because I know it's a really politicized topic nowadays. What I'm going to talk about, and I know people are really divided on this. But the Roman Emperor Diocletian viewed they viewed price gougers as enemies of the state. I know people get really heated up about
all those Diocletian fans are coming for us.
The detractors are just as extreme as his supporters.
Yeah.
But in 301 AD, the Roman Emperor Diocletian, he issued the edict on maximum prices, and price gougers were viewed as enemies of the state, and it carried a death penalty.
So it should.
And then, as it should, yeah. So I know, like, it's all been in the comments, like he's talking about Diocletian again. And then in the Middle Ages, the Catholic Church, they viewed price gouging as usury, which was a massive sin. So it wasn't just like an economic crime; it was a spiritual crime as well. Usury was a big. I mean, didn't Jesus kick like the fucking money lenders out the temple for doing the same shit?
Yeah, look.
Yeah,
So
next time you see, but every time I see a scalper, I look him in the eye and I see Jesus would have fucking hated you.
Yeah, but they don't care. They don't care about that.
They're not going to lose too much sleep about that.
No, they only care about one thing, and it's money. They're already taking a beloved child's game and collectible away from the twinkling eyes of children and just making it a way to make themselves richer. And they all look the same, the scalpers that you see, the individual ones. They're always wearing sliders and shorts and oversized hoodies, and they're all, no offense, Chris, bald. And it's
there's a
mental.
few like there's what the old racists would call a few phenotypes who there is several. You could put 5 people in a room, and if 3 of them were scalpers, we'd be able to pick them out. And I just look at them and I think, would Diocletian have killed these people? And
if you were in the room, you'd go, which one has special needs?
Yeah. They're collecting Pokemon cards. All of them is the answer there.
Well, I'm just saying, I am not the hero you deserve, but I'm the one you need right now. I will scalp the scalpers.
That's for damn sure.
Bring young Chris back to scalp the autistic scalpers.
Yeah, that's it. Like, we didn't know much about ASD when I was younger, but I've had 25 years of experience and with knowledge now. I'm ready. Throw me back in. I know a man.
I'm going to give him a ring. The best of the best. He hasn't done it for 25 years.
Just me out in the woods chopping wood like Arnie and Commando. Nathan pulls up on a helicopter. It's Chris, people can't get all the Pokemon cards. We need you. What? I'm out, but we need you. You son of a bitch. I'm back in.
Son of a bitch, I'm in. Yeah, that's what we need. Yeah, those aren't even the scalpers that we need to worry about, to be honest. The people who are like individual ones, they're just they're just stupid. They're getting an extra 30 quid here and there. Yeah, they're getting a couple, making some money. It is annoying, but it's proper shops now are doing it too. Because, as you say, Chris, this dynamic pricing bullshit that is happening amongst a lot of stuff. There's a shop in Newcastle. I am going to shout them out, and I am going to fucking shame them because they suck, and I hate them. And they are called, I've even forgot the name of it. What the fuck's it
Traveling
called?
Man?
No, they're okay. Traveling Man and Forbidden Planet are okay. They sell at RRP, and they have great little systems where you queue outside, you get a little raffle ticket, you get limited to what it is that you can buy. And even some shops actually cut the cellophane.
Yes, I've seen
great.
That. Yeah. I was going to defend Traveling Man if they were, because they used to sell, when I collected Warhammer and painted Warhammer, they would sell at Games Workshop minus 10%, which was
nice,
perfect. Yeah, so I would always go to Traveling Man.
Those shops are great. And I do agree with cutting the cellophane. That's something that's been happening in Japan for a long time because they're sick of the secondary market and scalping. It basically opens the box so it is no longer sold as a mint condition, and it reduces its price massively. Even though I do collect sealed, which we will go into why that is different from scalping, please. I do still completely agree that is something that needs to happen. What the fuck is that place called? Be More Geek. It's called Be More Geek. It's in Newcastle, in Eldon Square. It's opposite Ryman's.
Oh,
they sell Yeah, they sell Pokemon cards and they sell them at scalping prices. It's absolutely ridiculous the prices that they sell them at. They just buy the boxes because they're a business. They'll be able to buy them at wholesale, and then they sell them at ridiculous market price scalping. They are scalpers with walls, and they are the ones that we need to hate. They suck. Fuck them. I will never shop in there ever again.
I was in Argos a couple of weeks ago to pick up a microphone I bought just as a spare in case something, but which I wasn't to realise was more of a kind of karaoke microphone. But hey ho, I'm now the proud owner of the same. But when I was waiting to collect it, like it's not pink or patterned or anything; it's at least standard black.
Fisher Price. That's all I'm thinking.
But there was a collection like poster at Argos saying for Pokemon cards, I think it was like limited to one per child or something like that.
Right, okay.
I can't remember what it said on it. It's just the fact that there was a specific poster about Pokemon cards made me take note.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if it's because of all this recent scalping.
It is.
Yeah.
You'll see that all over the place. You go into Mankind, another kind of gadget nerdy shop, and they have a sign that just says, "We do not have Pokemon cards. Do not ask us." Like it's nuts because you probably get all these sweaty blokes getting in at like 7 o'clock in the morning when they've just opened the doors, trying to buy everything. I actually went to my local One Stop on the day because I was going into work. I work quite early at times. And I went in early and I saw some of the brand new set that had come out, Chaos Rising. And I went, oh, bloody hell, you've still got some of them left. I said, that's absolutely crazy. I'll buy a couple of packs because I'm picking my daughter up later on. And the lady behind the counter was like, oh, we had about 6 boxes and they're all gone. I said, what, people just bought them individually? She went, no, they've just bought the whole boxes. They wanted us to scan the packs, times it by however we're in there, and then just give us the boxes. And that's when I said, please don't do that. Please crack the cellophane. Make sure they can't do that because it's ruining it for everyone. And the lady was like, yes, I will do that in the future. And so now they do actually have lots of individual packs in my local One Stop because luckily I've potentially ruined Scalpers Day in the local area.
Good.
So there you go. That's my Robin Hood story for you there. So we'll go into other stuff apart from scalping. We know that they are just bastards, and that's how it goes.
Last thing on that as well. If anyone's interested in, like I was, so like for this is how prolific scalping is that like, my wife, who isn't my wife, she's not into like Pokemon or anything like that. We sit and watch videos together about the latest weird shit that scalpers are doing. Like there's people like Moist Critical and like loads of YouTubers who cover like stories about like, because there's like people who've like robbed shops. Like it's happened multiple times. Like they're doing Pokemon heists. There's people who've robbed conventions where like they had a booth set up and stuff like that. And it's just go watch, like just look up YouTube Pokemon scalpers and you'll see videos of like people getting into fist fights at like vending machines for Pokemon cards. And but like I said, scalping is an epidemic in my opinion, and Pokemon is probably the best example of it, but it's there for all sorts.
It's the most immoral example, but once again, the fact that it is like, I know I collect them, but it is a children's card game. Like it's like deeply immoral to do it. Concert tickets, things like that, still bad crack. But it's adults with money that you are like kind of disappointing. This is a kid's game. This is kids that aren't going to get the love and the joy that we had when I used to be able to buy 2 packs from Woolworths for £2.50 and see what I got with my pocket money. It's nuts. But anyway. Off the scalpers. Scalpers should be scalped. We'll leave it at that. Chris was on about the condition of things and why that makes more money. You were on about the Charizards, and what did you say? How much the Charizards can go for? Like between 500,000, blah blah blah.
roughly, yeah. The most expensive one was Logan Paul, sold one for 16.5 million. He's a cunt, by the way. He really fucking accelerated ruining it for everyone.
We've definitely discussed Logan Paul in this before.
Yeah.
And we did all agree that he was a cunt.
I think we covered it in the scams episode, didn't we? Or the cryptocurrency episode.
Very briefly. Yeah, his was diamond encrusted. That's why his went for so much. But it's all about, as you say, the condition, the grading, which we'll go into very shortly. And it's actually the type of card as well. As we said, there was base set, there was first edition, where you have the first edition stamp, just like any first edition book or anything like that. Really adds the value because they were the first ones to come out. Error cards, misprints, things called shadowless cards, which were basically when they were first created, the little box that were around the Pokemon in general, on the right-hand side, there is now like a shadow, just to give it depth. Never used to have that. So shadowless cards are worth a lot more because it shows that they were part of an older set of the same card. Grading. You can send your cards in to a company to grade it from 1 to 10. Loads of different companies that do this. CGC are good ones. Ace, like a roundabout in the Europe way of things, and they have nice ones that come out. And PSA. PSA are the most popular ones. Has anyone heard of PSA grading?
Nope. Yeah, I thought they had pretty much a monopoly because I've only heard of PSA grading.
Yeah.
That's all that comes up for, like, that's all in the videos I've watched. It's only been PSA.
Mm-hmm. They started off with sports cards grading, so baseball cards, football stickers, panini stickers, tops, things like that. And so they will grade from 1 to 10.
People?
They do grade gay people.
What about bottoms?
Currently... No, not bottoms, no. No, only CGC grade them as pristine 10. Because
PSA get the tops, CGC get the bottoms.
Correct.
The switches are not welcome anywhere. They're ruined. They're used goods.
No, not until the new factory opens up in East Germany. Right. So PSA are a bunch of bastards.
Strange that.
Yeah, it is strange. They used to be all right, and they've actually just really, really gone downhill recently. I am going to go through some scandals that PSA have been doing recently. Chris mentioned one quite early on in the podcast a while back.
I did, yeah. The one where they were offering a guy had sent a card in to get valued, and they were saying based on market value it's worth X, and X was like half of the actual market value, and the last sale that had been made of that card was by PSA themselves for twice what they were offering. So it's a bit scummy. Wow, as if that was like, well, obviously it's going to be close to my mind. We're talking about the subject. But I recalled that quite readily.
Yeah,
good job, Chris.
I'll go through in detail what happened there. So it was like a Deoxys card, a very rare card of a legendary Pokemon. It's like a DNA type Pokemon. 2004 Japanese promo, quite hard to get. It was graded a PSA 10, which was the most it could be regraded, before reholdering, which was basically where they encapsulate it. So they graded it. So this is great. This is really good. It's a 10. We're going to put it in this lovely little case. When they put it in the case, they allegedly caused damage to it, which then reduced its grade to a PSA 6, which bad crack. So the PSA 6 was valued at $750, whereas the PSA 10, according to PSA, was valued at $20,000. So the customer was offered $19,250 as compensation. Whereas the most recent sale of the same card by PSA was $45,000. So they just scammed this guy by saying, whoops, we broke your card, but we're only going to give you this much because it's only worth this much. Please don't look at this recent sale where we've sold it for this much. Assholes.
Wow.
What we're talking about here is just this really good microcosm of these much bigger problems, which is like the greed and the enshittification of like pretty much everything. And I think the Pokemon scene is a very good representation of a lot of things that seem to be wrong with our fucking society.
Yeah. There's also current investigations going on with PSA because something has started happening where people have sent in their cards, which they think, these look great, these are going to get a 10, these are going to be wonderful. PSA have looked at them and said, these are a 9, this isn't as good. Let's say, for example, it's going to be a one of the Charizards in a Shadowless. Yeah. PSA 10, crazy money. PSA 9, still decent money, but it's not going to be that good. So PSA now do this thing where you can sell through them. So it's kind of like a buyback scheme. So they'll say, well, we will keep this, we will give you this amount of money, and we'll sell it on because they have their official eBay account. Yeah. So these cards have been going in a 9. People have gone, oh, for God's sake, it's a 9. Go on then, just give me the money. You keep it. I don't want it for my collection. I will try again once I get another one of those cards. They've then seen an increase of those exact cards being sold as 10s. So they have been regraded because they've sold them back to PSA, and they've given them a 10 just so they can sell them for a higher price on their own eBay account.
That's so dishonest. Like,
it is so bad, man. It's happened so many times.
Where's the? There's no honor anymore.
There
man.
is no. It is a dishonorable, especially for a Japanese product as well. They should commit seppuku.
They should commit Sudoku. You're right.
Sudoku.
That is so dishonest.
They should.
Fuck.
They should commit Sudoku, definitely. Yeah.
Oh, good lord.
So talking about grading, then, I've just brought a couple of PSA graded cards to show people what it is that they look like. Here I have this is a PSA graded 10. This is an Articuno, a Japanese Articuno from 2025. It is a beautiful, beautiful card.
As a kid, I mentioned I got a Moltres and a Zapdos.
Yes.
I've got a really rare card. I'll swap you for that, Nathan.
Yeah.
It's called a Tangela.
Yeah, so this isn't actually worth all that much money at the moment. It's all about population. So this card might have just been that it was really easy to get a 10 in. Sometimes it's through the manufacturing. They've manufactured them really well. They've been made lovely. People have opened them, sent them straight away, and they've got a 10. It doesn't even matter about scratching and stuff like that either. There are times that a card can be absolutely perfect, and it, through no fault of your own, it could get a 9 because of the centering. Through a manufacturer's centering.
The centering, just for anyone who doesn't happen to have heard about this, it's where the cards have got a border around them, and it's the image on the edge of the border. So I've seen cards like where it's like the image is slightly too much to the left, and that has knocked it because it's not perfectly dead center. And that was when it was done in a factory, so you really couldn't do anything about that.
Correct. Which is what has happened with this one here. Let me just full screen you guys. You're in a little. There we go. This is a 2025 mint condition 9 Japanese Ivysaur art rare, and you can't really see because it's so insignificant, but the bottom is a lot thicker than the top is. Therefore, it is not perfect, and therefore worth about £350 less than what it is.
Because of card density.
Because of the centering of the of the
the
picture
border's
in the
thicker.
middle.
It's the border at the bottom is thicker.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Right. I was about. Yeah, Ian. I was like, did he get like a wedge of card and just a doorstop with a fucking Ivysaur printed on it?
They are quite thick when it comes to the actual slabs.
That is. That's interesting. Like how heavily densely packaged it is.
It's nice to hold one though. It is nice to have a graded card because you know you're not going to be able to accidentally bend it or anything like that. It is future proofing them. And
I mean,
they're
just
also
try not
in
to think
like a little
about
bag as well.
Yeah, try not to think that 50 years from now, when you're dead, these will be rotting in a landfill.
I will hopefully be rotting in a landfill. as well. I collect sealed products. So this here is what's called an Elite Trainer box. This has 9 packs inside it and some dice for the game, some little sleeves for the game, all sorts of little things. This is from a set called Ascended Heroes that came out in March, I want to say. I got this through a Discord of having notifications of the Pokemon Center when it came live. So this is a Pokemon Center exclusive one. Comes with this stamp. Once they are sold out on the Pokemon Center, which is in the first few hours, these will never get made ever again. So these are very, very rare. I bought this for £55, which is your standard price, and it is currently worth about 350 just from March. So don't drop that. And then I have my little personal binder. Isn't it cute? I'm like,
that is cute.
I'm like
I've
a little
seen
boy.
those before. Is that quite
Yeah.
old? Because I feel like I've saw them years ago.
I don't know. I've had. I bought this from Vinted, I think it was. But I've got all sorts of things in here from just my personal collection where I don't mind if they're bad condition or what. Chris, do you recognise this?
I
Do
didn't
you
buy it from
recognise it?
Chris on Vintage, did you?
No, sadly not. No, there's no taint on that card in particular. But yeah, I've got
Yet.
lots of cool cards that hopefully will tickle your nostalgia, Chris. I don't have a Charizard, you know. Even like they are quite expensive just to buy for a singular card. Here's a nice little Gengar.
Is that the Mew I was talking about, the ancient one?
This is the ancient Mew, yes.
Yeah.
This came. God, was it when you bought the VHS? I think
It might have
Of
been,
the
yeah. You got
Pokemon
the
movie?
yellow yeah.
of the Pokemon movie, yeah. Something along those lines. They're getting quite valuable now. The ancient Mew, just out of the blue. They were
Okay.
always staggering at around about the same price. I have a page here that when you went to the Pokemon movie, you got a card, and there was 4 cards that you could collect. And this page here, the Dragonite, the Pikachu. Sorry for all the listeners. This is really boring for people just listening. Dragonite, Pikachu, Mewtwo, Electabuzz. These were all from the movie. When you went to the cinema, you got one. Or if you went to the cinema for the second movie, you got this one.
Ooh.
This is
is that Entei? Yeah.
This is Entei. Look, it's a reverse hollow. This is what I was talking about, where the outside is shiny, not the inside. But yeah, enough of that. That was just a little showing of.
That's
of
good.
my-
Yeah, that's good for the video watchers.
the video cooks. Yeah, both of
The
them.
video
me,
cooks.
me basically.
Yeah, it's you. Yeah, and then you point out like really small production errors that nobody else is going to see.
Yeah,
And I beat myself up about it.
but so what I do is I buy what I want for my personal collection. I don't care about what condition it's in. When it comes to sealed products, that's what I keep on display. I keep them in protective casing. I keep them in a nice little cupboard far away from everything, far away from any light damage and stuff like that. And it's a good investment. It's a good time to get into it, despite it being very difficult to actually get a hold of things. We are in a bull market at the moment. Chris, do you want to explain what a bull market is again for the listeners?
Is it where a bull market's where the prices are going up?
Yeah, basically. A sustained period of rising asset prices, typically marked by investor optimism, strong economic growth, and increasing corporate profits. So it's being led by everyone at the moment who is investing in this thing and is buying them for whatever reason. YouTubers love opening Pokemon cards on YouTube. It's very profitable for them because people love watching it. There's massive PokeTubers out there, they're called. PokeRev is probably one of the most popular ones. He shouts. I watch from time to time because he gets lots of really cool stuff in, but he just shouts a lot, and I'm not into that. I think I'd like someone more like Ian. I'd like to watch Ian open Pokemon cards. I would like to see that. Whatnot. Do we know what Whatnot is?
Whatnot is it's doing the rounds at the moment.
Why are you pronouncing it like that? Why are you pronouncing Chansey like that?
I'm from the Midlands.
Chauncey, related to Geoffrey Chaucer? Possibly.
Chauncey. It's Chauncey.
Yeah, Whatnot's doing the rounds with YouTube, like YouTuber
Mm-hmm.
sponsors at the moment, isn't it? It's advertising itself as a marketplace to buy. Oh well, it's a resellers marketplace. I'm gathering because because specifically they call out you can buy cards, you can buy trainers, you can buy other shit. Like it seems to be this stuff the way you'd buy the things that have been scalped.
Yeah, and it's weird because Whatnot, there's TikTok Shop, eBay are doing it now, where there's live video bidding, and this is where it gets a bit.
Okay.
This is where it gets a bit like parasocial and strange. So much like when people don't understand when I would rather watch someone playing Planet Coaster than sit down and play it myself sometimes because I can't be bothered, but I still want to watch it. These people. Like, if I created a Whatnot or a TikTok Live or something like that, I could have my Pokemon Center Mega Evolution Ascended Heroes box, and I could put a pack up for auction, and people who are watching and streaming will bid on that pack. So it will end up going way over what the price is. They will then watch me open it and see what they get. And I will send them what it is that they get. Without them actually doing the opening, it's all about getting the gratification there and then on a live stream. You know, people like that for some reason. As you say, it's a parasocial thing, which I don't really understand. But that's another way that scalpers make a lot of money from doing that. There have been a lot of Whatnot scams. There have been a lot of people who have just smaller Whatnot people who have opened up packs, got the best card that is in the pack, which is sometimes like the Prismatic Evolutions Umbreon, which can go for like thousands and thousands of pounds, and then suddenly cut the stream off and never to be seen again. Just been like, oh, nope.
It's a rug pull. It's like a rug pull, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I've sold this pack for $20. Shit, I've just pulled something worth 2,000. Goodbye, everyone. My internet has suddenly broken. No, you can't have that. Or we've seen people trying to do sleight of hand, where they've basically had loads of crappy packs already open and potentially resealed them as well, and have gone, right, next is this pack, who's buying this one? Okay, takes it out of screen, brings another one in screen. Sorry, you've got a load of shit. So it's a terrible, terrible way to actually do things. I really don't know why it's so popular. People are a bit dumb, or they just follow their desire for gambling and dopamine, I think.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it, isn't it? It's gambling, it's low stakes, and then you've got it's low stakes for them sometimes, but then obviously it can be very high stakes, and then it's that parasocial aspect, and it's just horrendous.
Yeah,
I hate it.
but yeah, I'm not a financial advisor, so don't take my advice on anything whatsoever. But I've made a lot of money from Pokemon cards through. I never buy loads and loads of boxes to scalp or anything like that. I just have them, keep them sealed, keep them safe, and if ever there's a time that I look and they're worth far more than I have paid for them, and I need the money more than I need the box in my cupboard, I will sell it. I've sold things that I've picked up for £40 for £600 for many, many times. It's kept me afloat and will hopefully continue to keep me afloat. I have a plan where when it all gets to a certain amount, I am going to sell it all and go to Japan.
Really?
That's my plan. I'm going to do a big Japan trip. Massive one.
You may as well.
I'm going to be big.
Given how far you're going.
Yeah.
I only want to go to Japan for Disney. Like that's because
Tokyo Disney Sea.
Apparently it's cheaper than to go to the American one. So
and there's not as many Americans there.
That
helps.
Possibly.
Yeah, you've got two Disney places in Tokyo, in Japan. I think you've got Disneyland Tokyo, and you've got Tokyo Disney Sea, it's called, which are great.
I don't know. I'm going to.
They're very cool.
It's
Yeah.
like a 19-hour flight. But
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
just to be clear, Americans, you're absolutely lovely. Your government, fucking lunatics.
No,
Making you all lunatics by extension.
my sister's been to Japan twice within the last couple of years, in part because her husband is a university researcher and he's got mates in Japan, so he can often get a freebie because that's for
Right.
life. That's for life. So they did a 2-week trip out there around my sister's birthday a couple of years back, and so they did the whole be in Tokyo, be in the hotel where there's a literal Godzilla outside,
Wow.
take a bullet train out to the mountains, go to the Nintendo store and resorts.
Mhm.
There's also, if you plan it well, I reckon you could get quite a lot out of it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, my
definitely.
plan wouldn't be to sell it. Like, I know I said sell it all and go to Japan. If, say, hypothetically, it was £15,000 worth, I would sell it all, use £5,000 of that to reinvest into newer sets to then keep it going to advance more, and take the 10 to go on the trip of a lifetime and do whatever.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
that way I would have the best of both worlds. If anyone is wanting to get into investing into Pokemon cards, there's a few takeaways that I've written down. The Chinese down the road from me, called Happy Home Chinese. There is Sidhu's Fish and Chips. No, that's a shit joke.
Are they the ones who do the vegan plantains?
No, that was Laura's Chippy. That's really good. No, Sidhu's doesn't. Sidhu's has vegan chips, but the shit. Happy Home Chinese does a vegan lunchbox though, and it's fucking banging. Shout out to Happy Home Chinese.
They tell you that. They tell you
Yeah,
that.
it could be
They
anything.
Don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
They
it
don't
could be
give a
cat.
shit.
I don't care as long as it says it on the box. I don't care, right? I'm none the wiser, right? So you give me a burger and you tell me it's vegan, I will ask once, take a bite, and I'll go, "Are you sure?" And if you go, "Yeah," then that's fine. Yeah, I don't mind. Okay,
I'm a very spiritual vegan. I'll just believe you.
I will believe you. Yeah, I put a lot of trust in the human race when it comes to what I'm putting in my mouth. Same as my wife. Right. So takeaways for the investors: verify before buying anything, especially graded cards. You want to always use the certification lookup, and you want to inspect the holders for signs of tampering, and watch out for the older PSA slabs that don't have the holograms on them. You've got a little hologram there that you can see. These certification numbers here, you can look up on the PSA website, and it will show you that it is a legitimate card, when it was graded, what it is graded at. So if you find a card that you're seeing online and think, that's cool, it is graded, type the number in, because it could just be a load of bollocks. It could be a card that is in a different country and someone has just stole a picture of it, and the one that you're getting is not that. All sorts. So the good thing about PSA and other grading things is it has a little bit of a footprint.
I was going to say, to what extent does it record the owner's details? Like, what details do you get if you look up the grading information? I'm very keen to know that.
Let's have a look. Look up PSA cert number. So I am going to. So you use your phone's camera to scan the PSA label or QR code on the graded card, enter the certification ID. What does it give you? What does it give to the Lord? Is one of the suggestions that it came up there. Look up PSA cert number. What does it give to the Lord? It's just verifies the validity of PSA. So I don't know about like how about it changing hands or anything like that. I don't think it's like a blockchain. I'm not
Right.
sure if it's like that. It just tells you when it was certified and where it was certified, I believe.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fine. But like often you'll see like people trying to sell things where the PSA it doesn't lead anywhere at all. So it is always good to have that little bit of a balance on there. You should always diversify your grading companies. So SGC and Beckett submissions are increasingly attractive as diversified insurance. mainly because PSA not getting a good word in at the moment. CGC are pretty cool. They do a thing called Pristine 10, which is actually seen as better than a PSA 10. They're really, really hard to get. So you get a Pristine 10, and they are, a lot of the time, far more expensive than a PSA 10, despite PSA being, they represent untouched assets that bypass grading controversies. So just make sure that you keep everything nice and secure and sealed. I don't buy anything that isn't sealed if ever I see it online. If people are like, hey, here's a booster box, it is open, there's 36 packs in it, I'll not buy it. I don't trust people in that said, because I'm not putting it in my mouth, so I don't trust them, and always try to evaluate market trends, pop culture, speculative bubbles, emerging technologies like blockchain-based authenticity verifications and things like that. Always try to be one step ahead of things like that. Have a look at the games that are coming out, the popular anime, the ones that are really gaining tractions, the sexiest ones. I've got a card here, right, that I called this as what is going to be an expensive card one day for one reason. Now I'm going to show you the card.
Is it because it's Vaporeon and you can fuck them?
It's not Vaporeon, but Vaporeon are quite popular Pokemon. It's gonna take a little while. Oh, here it is. I was going to say talk amongst yourselves about who you think is the sexiest Pokemon. Now, why do you think this card is what I thought will end up being expensive one day?
Oh god, is it because of the girl's legs on it?
It's Misty. She has her feet. She has her feet out.
Okay, it's feet. It's
a feet thing. It's always a feet thing.
As soon.
I think that's a good shout. One day it will be. They have certain things called waifu cards. The cards of the female trainers are usually worth more because people are weird.
Do you call it waifu? I've always called it waifu.
It could be. I don't know. I learned things through reading, so I pronounce them differently. A bit like Ian with Chauncey.
Chauncey.
Ian, you're on mute. You've been on mute for ages.
Or his voice went so high.
That's not what I said.
Chauncey. What did you say? I feel like I just rewrote history by... Chansey, that's even worse.
Chansey.
You sound like you're having a fucking stroke.
I prefer Chauncey.
Chansey.
Yeah. Chauncey evolves into Blicey.
Chauncey sounds like a faithful man who has a history in the armed forces, and he's the best friend you'll ever meet. I want Chauncey in my life.
Okay, he's like a missing Biggles character.
So
Oh,
the fourth member of the podcast, Chauncey.
Any more thoughts and discussions? Any questions?
I've got questions. So all of this stuff comes out of the Pokémon Center, you say?
Some of it, yeah.
Okay, so I suppose in terms of supply to keep this whole economy of Pokemon cards and other things, but mainly cards, going, I suppose supply has to be limited and monitored, therefore it probably only comes out of the one place before it gets packed up and shipped off. Is that right, or...?
So there's lots of different factories all around the world that are manufacturing, creating these cards, the boxes, and things like that. The one I showed you, this was a Pokemon Center exclusive. It's probably made in multiple different factories, but it's just able to be bought from the Pokemon Center itself, which is a website. The Pokemon's official website, it's a piece of shit, that website, especially when it's busy. It just fails completely. It's horrible. But yeah, there's lots of different places that create these cards. There's actually brand new factories being opened to help for the demand that there is currently. The demand is massive. PSA are opening a place in Europe, which is possibly going to increase the popularity / decrease PSA's value in their secondary market, because it's going to be more viable for anybody in Europe to actually grade them. You would normally have to send them overseas to America, which adds a whole other fucking level of risk, really. Would you want to do that if you had a card that is potentially £500,000? Would you want to send it to America? People say you should deliver it by hand and wait in the foyer of the grading company.
Yeah, there was talking about factories. So in 2021, there was the Fusion Strike set
Yes.
or rare cards. So in 2021, a factory worker, so someone who worked at the actual factory, turned up at a game shop and was trying to sell secret rare cards.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd actually been revealed yet, and at that time, and it was offered to a hobby store in Texas named Trading Card World. And the guy was trying to sell them like fucking massive stacks of these super rare Pokemon cards that he'd stole from work. And the Pokemon company, like, they dispatched like the Pinkertons almost. Like, they had their own investigators, and they found out who was doing this. And I can only assume they executed him.
Yeah, he
and
died.
his family.
Yeah,
he died 6 bullets to the back of the head. It was the worst case of suicide they'd ever seen.
He was.
It wasn't a bubble beam.
No, it wasn't. No, it was.
He was electrocuted. The neighbors just heard someone shouting, "Peek!"
Yeah, that was the thing that happened. If he'd just waited, if he'd kept them and waited, and then maybe sold them bit by bit in different places and just took his time, he would have probably got away with that. That tanked the value of Fusion Strike massively.
Yeah.
People
so it was like
did
a load
not
of
want...
like it was like a load of like EVs and that, I think, was it? Not EVs. Was it Evolutions?
In Fusion Strike, it would have been things like Gengars and a Mew,
right.
stuff like that. But yeah, no one wanted Fusion Strike. It was so weird. Fusion Strike was available to buy on the UK Pokemon Center when everything else was sold out, which is really weird. I actually bought 2 booster boxes of Fusion Strike when I got made redundant, which were like £120 each. And I sold them both for £600 each because eventually,
Damn.
when everyone's kind of got over it and it goes out of circulation, that's one of the main things about buying sealed. Wait until it goes out of circulation. People still want the cards. They still want to collect. They're just not able to buy them in any other place. The value skyrockets. You can see why people do scalp. It is attractive. It is. If they've got diamond hands, as they call them, it's like stocks. You wait long enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
But
wait long
that's
enough.
the thing, is that like, so I think I've showed you my cards before, Nathan, where I had like maybe 1 or 2 that might be worth a fair bit in a few years. And so diamond, I think it's easier to have diamond, and this is why there's so many good capitalist billionaires. If you genuinely don't give a fuck about the thing you've invested in, it's much easier to have diamond hands. Because I talk about these cards academically. I dropped a couple of £100 on them years ago. No idea what they'd be worth now, but like, I don't really think about them that much, so it's going to be no problem for me to hold on to them for like 20 years or whatever.
Yeah, that is one way. Like, I feel sorry for my daughter sometimes, just having to look at hundreds and hundreds of sealed Pokemon products as if she's in a shop and not being able to do anything about it. I love Pokemon cards. I love opening them, but I also love not opening them. So it works for me. I like the display. I like having them there. I have a nice little display where I have some special things like Pokemon postcards from Japan. My mate goes to China for work, and he goes to the Pokemon Center there, which is a physical building, and brings me back limited edition Chinese little trinkets and booster things, and it's a nice little display. So I like that. I sometimes do think, how fun would it be to open every single one?
Yeah, 100%. I love
every
the opening.
Single one.
I like the
Invite
I like
your
the
dad
aspect.
around with a gas can.
Dad, do you want to come around for a barbecue?
No, he's not allowed.
So thank you for that, Nathan. I do thank you for that. But I am going to test your credentials for the last part of this episode.
Yeah.
We are going to cover the top 10 most expensive cards that have been sold ever. And I'm going to ask the sensible question of, for every one of them, I'm going to ask you to explain to me why it was so valuable.
Okay.
Why they and talking about diversifying your grading. A CGC is 1 out of 10. PSA is the rest. So 9 out of 10 graded cards of the most expensive ones are PSA graded. So I'll give you a few details about the card, and I want you to tell us why this was so expensive. So number 10 is Snap Pikachu from 1999. It was graded as PSA Authentic. It was sold in June 2023 for $270,000.
Yeah,
Why
I'll
is
have to
this
look
so
at a picture
expensive?
of Snap Pikachu just to
That's
refresh
just Pikachu.
my memory.
It's just Pikachu.
It's not just Pikachu.
You're not doing good if
from...
you can't tell me, if you can't remember what Pikachu looks like.
I'm doing it. It's not just Pikachu. It's from Pokemon Snap, the old Nintendo 64 game, and I believe the best is really the new one is actually really good as well for the Switch. It's very good.
So Pokemon Snap has got a really kind of intense speedrunning community. Like there's people who have like maxed that game.
Yeah, definitely. So I think it was like a contest. I like the Illustrator Pikachu, the first one. It was a contest where you had to take a cool picture of Pikachu from Pokemon Snap, send it into Nintendo. Some of them got picked. If they did, they got this special card. And having that graded as well, that's pretty fucking special.
Okay, all right. So this is it was also from a 1999 Coro comic collaboration, and it was a Snap promo card. And this one had remained hidden for 24 years. People didn't know if this card even existed anymore, and they thought it must do. And it was found, a single copy was discovered at a Japanese trading card game store. That's some like lost media shit. Number 9. Yeah, number 9. 2004 Pokemon World Championships Tropical Wind semi-finalist. So this is a trainer card for Tropical Wind. It was graded as PSA 10 and sold in January 2025 for $300,000.
Wow. I mean, I'm guessing it's because you got it when you won. When you won the World Championship, or maybe it was when you partook in the World Championship. Right. So, like, it's
this was a semi-finalist.
Yeah,
it's a semi-finalist.
So what? There's like four then? If it was a semi-finalist, like 4. If it was one
there's
versus
only 2
one
currently
versus
graded. One. Yeah, there's only 2 that have been graded, and this is the only number 10.
Yeah, very cool.
Number 8, the commissioned presentation Blastoise Galaxy Star Hollow 1998. CGC, our only entry on the list, 8.5. Sold in January 2021 for $360,000.
I don't think I've heard of this one.
Okay, well, this one was created by Wizards of the Coast.
Yes, it's like it's the fancy, it's the Blastoise that was on the front of the Pokemon Blue instead of the little fat one that we know and love. But I don't. Why would it be so rare?
It was this was commissioned by Wizards of the Coast to present to Nintendo, print. And it was eventually to earn their approval for printing Pokemon cards. So this was one of the ones they. That's cool. Like they built that. It's also got no back on it either.
Oh.
It was never intended to be viewed from any other angle except from front on. That's cool.
I've seen this card before, and it's one where like the picture of Blastoise is literally the one from the front of Pokemon Blue before they all had different Japanese artists doing different things. That's pretty cool.
Just while we're doing this then, Ian, what Pokemon card would you think you'd pay the most for? What's the most you'd pay for a Pokemon card? One Pokemon card.
A tenner.
Yeah. A single card, I don't think I'd pay much for. Like, I don't think I could.
Yeah. It'd have to be a nice looking card, you know.
Yeah, the packs I understand, because I like the opening of the packs. I like opening the packs. I like the videos of that guy who opens Pokemon packs and then beats people up. Or the other way around, he beats people up and then opens the pack and then throws like a really rare card on their face and walks off. It's just like, it's like a skit, but it's one account of a guy in a golden suit.
Yeah, it's
who just
weird.
Beats it's proper weird, but it's so entertaining.
Yeah.
Number 7, Bronze Trophy Pikachu, number 3 trainer, first tournament, 1997. PSA 8 went for $378,000, $378,200. I forgot how to count then.
Yeah.
This was the very first Pokemon tournament in Chiba, Japan.
Well, that'll be why.
That's pretty nice. Yeah. Number 6 follows suit. Silver Trophy. Pikachu, number 2 trainer, second tournament, 1998, 444,000, graded PSA 10.
Big money.
Yeah, number 5. Okay, right. Number 5. This one is fucking interesting. I wonder if you've heard of this. Charizard Top Sun Blue Back, 1997.
Charizard.
Graded PSA 10. Price $481,200, and it was sold in January 2021. This is a very, very interesting Charizard. I've never seen this before.
I've seen this thing. Yeah. So this is
also these aren't Pokemon trading card games.
No, this is like this is a different kettle of fish. Whoa.
Oh, so
people
these
kicking off outside.
So this is just old Pokemon merchandise before TCG really took off.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think these were made before Pokemon was like absolutely huge as it was. I believe the Top Sun stuff, they are like, when we have Tops. The football cards of Tops are very similar to that. And I believe that was during the time of Pokemon, but then Red and Green being out in Japan, but before they really took off all around the world and before there was any TCG or anything like that. That is my guess. I don't know why the blue back is a rare variant. I'm not sure, but
these came bundled with packs of gum. Can you imagine getting something worth £500,000 in a fucking Hubba Bubba?
Yeah. Wow. That's pretty cool.
God. Oh, stuck on the front page of a Beano.
Yeah, no, this one's mad. This one's a PSA 6, but it was sold for $550,000.
Wow.
And this was a pre-release Raichu in 1999. Why would that be so expensive?
So
it was sold in September 2025.
In 2025?
Yeah.
Well, I have no idea.
This is currently the most expensive English printed Pokemon card of all time, and it's actually very close to the most valuable English printed card across all TCGs, especially if you treat the One Ring from Magic the Gathering as Elvish instead of English.
Right. I mean, pre-release cards, you do get pre-release. I have a pre-release in my collection. So before certain sets would come out, they would basically sometimes hold little tournaments in local card shops and give you little fun packs or give you a pre-release card. Now, the Raichu, I believe the Raichu was from Jungle, which was the second expansion, as we went through before. So they would have given this pre-release out to the very few people who were so bang into it that they went to the pre-release events for the brand new expansion. I have a pre-release Aerodactyl. You can see it has pre-release there, first edition.
Touching it with your dirty, oily hands.
Yeah, it's not in very good condition as it is, mate. It's a bit battered and bruised. I've had that one for a very, very long time, actually. It was one that survived my childhood.
The fire.
Yeah, it's not really worth as much. Why would a PSA 6 go for that? I guess people just didn't.
Well, it's the most valuable English printed card, and the most expensive English printed Pokemon card. I think, the One Rings, I think it's probably written in fucking Sindarin or something. Okay, yeah. So number 3 and number 2 are both Charizards.
Right.
Number 3 went for 641,721. PSA 10. Japanese Charizard no rarity symbol, 1996. What is a rarity symbol?
So rarity symbols are on the left hand of your card. On this here, it says AR as an art rare, but they would normally have little circles for commons, little diamonds for uncommons, a star for a rare. A no rarity symbol is a misprint. It's an error. So yeah, that's that really. It's rare because it's an error. Misprints make a lot of money if you have something where it's so far out that it's not just a bad grade, that you actually start seeing another part of a card or something like that. Sometimes you get like half a Vaporeon, half a Jolteon, and like they can go for there's weird people that collect misprints. So no rarity is an error, so that'll be why.
Yeah, and I publish a novel riddled with spelling mistakes, and I'm not a fucking millionaire. So
not yet.
Well,
We
true.
will yearn for that when AI takes over. We will yearn for
I am
humans.
big in. I am big in Pakistan. I'll say that about myself.
Wow.
I am big in Pakistan.
Send
My
bots.
my books are big in Pakistan. I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
So number 2, first edition base set Charizard 4 Logan Paul break 1999.
Yeah, that's the
This
one
was
that's
sold for
diamond encrusted.
There's no diamonds on this.
No?
$954,800. February this year. PSA 10. It was pulled during Logan Paul's live streamed first edition base box set break in February 2021.
So I wonder if that is literally just because a celebrity has pulled it.
Yeah, number 1 is the diamond one, by the way. But
Yeah, right, okay. Right. So a celebrity, it's adding celebrity status to it. It's like saying this was a handkerchief that Scarlett Johansson sneezed in once. Like it adds value to it. His Belle Delphine's bath water. So because he was seen opening it, and because it's still a very rare card and it's still a very valuable card, it just adds that little bit more to it for some fucking reason.
Fair enough. So number 1 is now. This is a big. We're big on the Venn diagrams on this show. So this crosses over massively with our scams episode and our cryptocurrency episode, because number 1 was the illustrated Pikachu, the most expensive Pokemon card ever sold, PSA 10, 2026, February, 16,492,000. However, this was sold by Logan Paul, but it was the sale shattered the previous record, which was also set by a PSA 10 illustrated Pikachu when Logan Paul bought it in 2022 for $5.75 million. So $11 million, it beat the previous record. However, part of Paul's strategy in buying the card was to promote Liquid Park Marketplace, which was his platform that allowed NFT like co-ownership of physical items. So you could buy a stake in a physical item like an NFT, and he sold shares in this card, but then he sold it unilaterally, so your shares... And they're talking about scams and rug pulls and what have you. He later claimed to have bought out the card's remaining co-owners, but many co-owners allegedly weren't able to withdraw those funds from Liquid Marketplace.
Yeah.
So it's been tainted. The most expensive Pokemon card sold in history was tainted by Web3, cryptocurrency, NFT bullshit.
Yeah, he's fucking it. He's ruining it for everyone.
Yeah.
Logan Paul and Japan and Japan-related products, they don't go hand in hand, do they? He should just stay away.
Well, I don't think he's allowed back in the country, in fairness.
I'm not sure if they've accepted him back yet. I think they should keep him out there unless they want to scalp him. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, hopefully.
But the illustrated Pikachu is a rare card because it was an illustration contest from like a magazine, I believe. You had to draw a Pokemon or something, send it in. If you were one of the lucky few that won, you got sent this card. And this was once again back in the day when Pokemon was fun and for collecting and for having a great time with, and wasn't necessarily attached with crazy monetary value. So those who actually kept it pristine and then eventually graded it when the grading was more popular, that's who have really kept this card on top of its game, because it was so rare for someone who had drawn a little picture as a child, sent it in and got this as a child, to have kept it in such beautiful condition and not lost or destroyed it through time. Yeah. There you go.
Wow. But that is, I think, is a good place to draw to a close today.
I've waffled on a lot about Pokemon cards.
It's been nice. It's been a good insight into part of it I just had no idea about. It's been a nice bit of nostalgia, and it's a nice little bit of bullying Ian, which is, it's always nice.
Yeah.
It's just a little
flexing.
I'll say, I thank you for this, Nathan, because apart from the fact the cards have something on them that I'm casually familiar with, it's basically something that I knew very little about, like the sheer economy of Pokemon cards and Pokemon cards trading. I've no idea what makes this so much, more popular or better than the trading of anything else. But, it exists, and it's keeping people like yourself financially afloat. So it must be doing something right.
Your luck will run out eventually. You made money on crypto. You made money on Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
Like, your luck will run out at some. It has to. You're making money in places that are high risk, very volatile markets, in places that people are losing their life savings.
Yeah, I mean,
what the fuck?
I've just got my fingers in multiple pies, and you only hear the success stories. There have been many failures. I was I don't mean to potentially dox things, but long before OnlyFans was a thing, I was in an industry relative and parallel to that, but before OnlyFans really took off. So when I was younger and more handsome and not as dishevelled, and so if I was in that when the big boom of people doing it themselves and taking on the world, I would have probably earned a lot more money. But I didn't. I just sold myself on the internet for a very, very small sum of money. So there you go.
That's another thing. That's probably an episode in itself, because that's one of the things that, like, a lot of those, like, Instagram grifters, scam artists are doing now is, like, they're managing OnlyFans models by getting them into these horrendous. It's just pimping, essentially, right? Isn't it? Like,
it's pimping.
There's an image to leave for you. Nathan used to wank on camera for money, and now he does it for free. Every time we stop the recording sessions, he stands up, and at some point during the episode, without us noticing, he's took his trousers off.
I've been doing this the whole time.
He's really good. Every time you see, if you're a video watcher, just look for the little shimmies. He's got a system. He has a little fork stuck underneath his sofa cushion, and he gets his back pocket on the tines of the fork and uses it to pull his trousers off while we're talking.
There it is.
See?
That's my finger. That's my finger.
And on that horrendous lie, I'm going to bring this episode to a close. So that's goodbye from me, Chris.
Goodbye from me, Ian.
And goodbye from me, Pikachu.
Bye.
Bye.